coming to you from the historic Hart Building in Marysville, California, in Studio 93, in the Tank with Fish, with your host, Bob Fischetti.
Well, I'd like to welcome you to this particular episode of In the Tank with Fish and Minnow. And we are coming up on Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays. And I have a very important question. Now, if you have your kids with you when you're watching this, you might want to have them look away, right? Before I get there, okay? Because it's a Santa question for my favorite baker, okay? So, all right. So, do you make sourdough cookies for Santa?
I do.
Sourdough
But we don't make
cookies.
sourdough sugar cookies. We just make either oatmeal raisin or chocolate chip. It's whatever my kids pick. That's what we make. We always put a carrot out for the reindeer, milk and cookies out for Santa.
The reindeer are very particular. I called Santa the other day to check on this because apparently the reindeer are huge Cheeto fans.
I knew you were going there. I mean, Cheetos are orange like carrots. I guess
they love the puffy ones, right? They get all stuck in their reindeer teeth. And so there are cookies.
Yeah.
So are there, do you decorate them? Because you have the little white sugary stuff you put on them. I mean,
you could. We do both. So last year we didn't make sourdough sugar cookies. We just made regular sugar cookies because my kids love to decorate sugar cookies. Still, even at their, in their teenage too cool years, they're all about.
Nobody's too cool for sugar cookies.
They're all
it's
about
like snickerdoodles.
Well,
there is no age limit on snickerdoodles.
It's true. I love a good snickerdoodle.
Oh, I had a band we called the Snickerdoodles.
What a great band name.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Didn't
So my
last
kids
long.
are never too old to decorate cookies. And really, I think the competition is how many sprinkles and frosting can you throw on. So I'm over here like cutely decorating cookies, very minimally. My kids are like as much frosting as you can slather on. And then,
the cookies this thing.
Yes.
The frosting is this.
so that all of the sprinkles can stick, because then they're going to go through the smorgasbord of sprinkles and like
Who
just
eats
pour it.
those?
They do.
Gosh, I
And nobody
couldn't eat
else
the-
can eat their cookies.
What's your dentist bill like?
Actually, both my kids are pretty good. They both, I think, lucked out with pretty good teeth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm like, it hurts my teeth just watching them take a bite out of some of that stuff. Yeah. No, they're very particular, and their cookies stay separated. Like, that was mine, Oliver. Don't eat my cookie.
I want to tell you this. Your house is on the wrong street.
Is it? Do you think it should be the next street over?
It's you have such a Hallmark place.
Yeah.
Literally, I could go in your house and sit down and have a cup of coffee and be totally comfortable. And I've never seen the inside.
I know. You'll have to come over some.
Because
it's actually really cute inside.
It's just really a cool looking house.
Yeah.
And it's got this vibe.
Does it?
Yeah, it has the Little Bread Building vibe,
Thank you. That's so
and so I
nice.
love it. The porch and just, everything. It's just, right. I just don't like getting in and out of there.
I know.
It's like, so,
That's how we keep people out.
Yeah, no
You
kidding.
have to
See,
be able to back out or do like a 12-point turn.
yeah. I'm good at backing, fortunately, without a backup mirror.
See?
But I do, and I think your house I could see your house on like an acre.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the street where the distance between the houses is more.
Yeah.
No fences.
Yeah.
Just open garden.
Yeah.
Because the house would be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like it should be in a Hallmark movie. If Hallmark shot a movie at your place, they'd have to cut out everybody else's place, right?
They would, because we are like, you could literally like throw sugar to your neighbor if need be.
I pulled in the other day and a bunch of dudes in the garage watching a football game.
Oh, I know.
And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, okay. And they're like looking at me like, don't hit my car.
Yeah.
Do
They all know that. I'll text the neighbor and be like, hey, we did like scones on Sunday where it was like a pop-up scone day. And so I text them like, hey, there's going to be an increase in traffic because it's scone pickup. They're always like, no worries, it's fine. But yeah, they sit out there, they watch the fight, they have, a bonfire, they watch the game. It's like a guy's garage.
Darn, that's why I wanted to get out of my van.
Yeah.
I was like, I belong here.
Yeah, you should have.
They'd have probably been okay.
Yeah, they wouldn't have minded.
They'd have been saying, like, what'd you bring?
Yeah.
Cheetos.
Pairs perfectly with Coors Light.
Cheetos and Coors Light pair perfect. I think you might be right on that.
I'm onto something.
So I just want to ask a couple of things because we're getting close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am bringing extra turkey to my friend.
Yes.
She's asked for
me.
I actually bought 2 turkeys.
Whoa.
I have a 22-pound and a 16-pound.
Okay.
And so I'm going to cook them both.
Okay, just need like a few slices. Don't show up with a full turkey at my house.
She's getting a turkey leg. It's a turkey leg.
I just want a few slices of white meat for sandwiches, and in turn, I will bring you bread.
There's no dark meat in your life?
I don't.
Some people really like it.
I don't love dark meat. I am a white turkey meat girl.
My wife likes the dark meat because she says that white meat, more often than not, is drier. And I'm like,
are you telling me you're not good at cooking turkeys? Because now I'm not trading you bread.
No, we brine ours. Ours is good. It's
right.
moist.
That's better.
But that's what they make gravy for, baby.
Yeah, totally. And mashed potatoes. Slather them up.
All right. Last question, right?
Yes.
Cranberry sauce, right? Do you actually eat the cranberries and make the sauce? Are you going with the can?
I am this is probably so terrible. I am a canned cranberry person.
Me too.
And the jellied. I don't even want the whole. I want it like gelatinous, just fall out of the can. Cut it into cute little rounds because, it next levels it. Yeah, I will actually, I don't know if I want to say this out loud. I will actually take a spoon and just eat it out of the can. I love canned cranberries. That's probably my gross dark secret.
Yeah. Well, I'm like turkey, gravy, mashed potatoes, and stuffing.
Yeah.
Got to have both.
Yeah.
And cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
And I want it out of the can.
Yeah.
Yep. I want it to look like it's Jell-O. Right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I want it to jiggle. Man, look at us. Closet canned cranberry kids.
Tune in to us for more health food tips, right? Oh, when I see that on Facebook, they follow us for more tips.
Totally.
Right? It's like follow us for more health food
Follow
tips.
us on what not to do.
Listen, Kelly and I have become really good friends over this time, right? Really close. So I've decided to adopt her.
Yes.
However, she refuses to change her name to Fischetti. And I just... Mostly because it's hard to spell. I'm sure that's...
Exactly. I was a McGrath and I was a Trudell. Now I'm a
Trudell's
Fischetti.
easy. I'm going to keep that one, right? Anyway, we're going to be right back. We have Shon Harris with us. You're going to love this next interview because we said so. And we know, right? We know good ones, right?
Like canned cranberries.
Yeah. We're going to ask Shon. Guess now.
Yes.
Is
okay, I'm going to say he's like a whole cranberries guy. Not like whole, but like the homemade. Yeah. We should have had him plug his ears because now he's going to side with one of us. Plug your ears, Shon.
I'm going to go with the can.
Okay.
Yeah. I can just see him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I won't go with eating it out of the can.
No, that's me only.
Be on a plate. Okay. So, anyway, we'll be right back. Stay with us. It's Shon Harris coming up. We don't normally announce who it is. No. We just say you're going to like it, but you are going to like this. And one more time, the
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, because a subscribe lets you know these are released every Saturday. And we're going to be doing a special little Thanksgiving one and a Christmas one. We just haven't decided before and after. So if you tune in and we have a Christmas hat on or something, you'll know, right?
Yep.
We'll have the turkey right here.
Exactly.
Oh, come on. Fresh bread. All right. Well, stay with us. We'll be right back. 93Q Radio was an opportunity for what's called an LPFM to give the community a voice.
The big part of what's happening here is it's us. It's the community of us.
The work that Mr. Fischetti has done with us to promote public education has been absolutely groundbreaking.
They have the pulse of our community, from the nonprofits to the local governments. If you want to find out what's happening in our community, get on board with 93Q.
And 93Q does so much to help our community, helps us promote our local events, as well as local businesses, and tell our story about what we do here in Yuba City.
The folks that work here, they're part of our community, so they understand our needs, and that's important.
Local radio is so important during times of emergency. They're there. We lean on them to provide information to our public.
My wife and I are glad to support 93Q. We're going to do it on a monthly basis, but I really recommend that if you want to make your community better, this is a great place to take a first step right here.
So if you can, reach deep into your pocket and give to 93Q.
93Q is a great partner for law enforcement, and they're a great partner for the Yuba City area.
We're really asking people if you can give $10, $15, $20 a month, and then that enables us to continue to put small business spots on the air, nonprofits, organizations that are they're using every dollar they got just to operate, and they don't have extra money to spend on really promoting their cause. And that is why community radio, to me, I'm grateful to be part of it, and that's why it's important.
Welcome back to In the Tank with Fish and Minnow. Our guest today is Shon Harris, since somebody already told you.
Yeah.
Our first and very burning question for you, Shon.
Yeah, we want to know.
We want to know.
Inquiring minds.
We want to know. You're in the hot seat, but it's not very hot. Are you a canned jellied cranberry sauce person, or are you a homemade cranberry
Cook the
sauce?
cranberries.
And you're serious, right?
We're dead serious.
Yeah,
Set me up.
No.
I will say I grew up hating cranberries. Hating cranberry sauce. But now,
But now, wait, there's a but now. Hold on.
I've evolved, and my family's pretty informal. So if you go to if my grandma doesn't make her specialty or whatever, you're going to see a blob of cranberry sauce in a dish, and it still looks like the can. We've all been there, right? Do I prefer?
Yes.
I prefer the runny stuff.
Okay.
With chunks of the berries in.
I win.
You
Just
win.
saying, I win. I guessed that.
Yeah, so
But
what you
kind of
win is you win a cranberry scone from our famous artesian baker.
That was not part of this deal. I love how he just threw
just
that
make
in.
deals.
Yeah, I know. He makes deals because we're on camera, and I've got to uphold.
You're stuck.
But I still won, so I'm okay with that.
My grandmother makes cranberry bread almost daily. Yeah. She's 95 years old.
How do we get
still
on her
going
list?
strong.
Yeah.
I'll bring you some. I'll call her today.
You're familiar with Glines carpet?
Uh-huh.
So Terry Glines every year at Christmas time makes orange juice bread.
Oh.
And it is.
That sounds like it would be good.
It's really good. So I hardly see him during the year, but just letting you know, guys, I will be over. And then she bakes cookies all the time. So if you go in there, I'm not even buying carpet or flooring.
I was going to say, how much flooring could one person need? He's there every Christmas. Now I see what's going on.
I go in there other times and I say, I'm just here to say hi. Actually, I'm grabbing a couple of cookies and I'm going. It's like... So, all right, awesome. Let's get the other burning question out of the way.
There's another one.
Yep, white meat, dark meat.
Oh.
I grew up hating dark meat, but now I like it. I like both. And I would actually say I prefer the dark. Yeah.
My wife is that way. She says that it's more flavorful.
It seems to be more moist. Dark meat is the legs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hands down.
Are you like that person at Disneyland carrying around a turkey leg?
No King Arthur caveman stuff.
Well, yeah.
But I will. I had a foster kiddo one time. He was like 12 or 13. We would fight over the legs when we'd get chicken. We'd have to dive in and look for the legs because it's the easiest, tastes the best, and that's our thing.
Got its own handle.
Yeah. And so it's good. And that crispy, crunchy chicken they have at the gas stations.
Oh, that's the best chicken around.
Okay, so you agree?
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
No offense to Cane's, but we're talking about off the bone.
That gas station crunchy.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, if you've never tried it.
Yeah. I just ate at Cane's yesterday.
Yeah.
I took my wife over there because we've eaten it.
It's good.
before, but it's
good.
really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what that piece of bread's for.
I don't know. But,
It makes sense to me. It's right. You got French fries and chicken. I don't know why bread would be the third item.
So my 13-year-old, because he's into every hack because of YouTube, told me that what you do is you buy an extra piece of the Texas toast because you can. It's a side item. And then you get an extra thing of sauce and you make your own sandwich.
So it's a secret thing.
Okay. It's like an underground menu.
I'm the same way. When I went through there, I was one with the toast. I said, next time I'm going to have don't waste this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
And so, I've never seen a fast food place with not one, not two, but 3 disco balls inside.
I know.
Place is a party.
It's almost like
It's nice.
Dutch Bros meant a KFC because there's music and...
Yeah, it's good. They're doing something right.
Yeah, it was good. It was. We went over because I thought, okay, I'm not going on the first day. And then as a veteran, they sent me a thing and invited me the day before to train.
That's great.
The troops, which I was very grateful for, but we didn't go because Patty and I are both vets. But I knew she wanted to go there. You know how you just know, somebody, right? And so I surprised her yesterday. I said, "Come on, I'm taking you to Raising Cane's." She was all happy, and so we're going to be friends for another year.
Good. She was probably whispering in your ear with your hearing aids out. So you're like, I don't know. I just knew she wanted to go at night. She's like,
subliminal message in your sleep.
Playing it backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a dream, baby. Last night we went to Raising Cane's.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, do you actually want to do a show? Sorry, we are so Thanksgiving ready. I know, we have a guest. We would like to know things about you.
I did the Dutch Bro thing. I finally waited in line for them one time yesterday or the day before. And that's all I got to say.
I feel like Dutch Bros, so I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
They need like a sticker, like a safe sticker that says like, I'm an introvert. Please don't talk to me. I just want to order my beverage. And I want to, I don't want to explain why I have a rooftop 10 on my car. I don't want to tell you what I'm doing the rest of my day. Like, I actually want to read my book and just get my coffee.
I'm trying to be productive while waiting in line. And it's particularly, I told the lady, you realize it's early in the morning. I haven't had my coffee yet. I don't have time for how you doing today? What are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? And I know you don't care anyway because you're so it's all,
I'm on to you.
I don't want to have to answer all these questions.
It's too early.
I am so going there.
I know.
Have you done it yet? And then you get stickers too for some reason.
I'm not a Starbucks. I am a cup of coffee guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not
a guy. Yeah.
And somebody had told me when Dutch Brothers came into Live Oak, somebody told me, people drive up to Dutch Brothers, right? And I was like, I said, well, what's that like? And they made this statement and it stuck with me. They said Dutch Brothers is for a younger crowd than Starbucks. So most of their coffees are super sweet, super kid-friendly flavors, right? And I went, okay, well, I'm sure they got regular coffee, so.
Yeah.
They do.
Even at Starbucks, I have to ask if I usually just do black coffee. That's it.
Yeah.
What kind of cop would I be if I didn't drink black coffee, right?
Yeah, something wrong with you.
I always say half the sweet stuff. If on this time of year you do the peppermint mocha thing on occasion, just half of it. Otherwise, it's like drinking syrup.
Yeah,
it's not.
Can't do it.
Yeah, for probably that reason, like you were saying.
Yeah, so I haven't. So I'll have to go try it. But I'm going to do that.
Turn your hearing aids down before you.
Yeah,
I'm going to go.
I'm going to go. Don't say good morning to me. You don't care.
Shon said you don't care.
Know about my life. You don't care. Here, I'll just give you the money. Shut up. Give me my coffee.
That's really not going to go over well. They're going to be like, I had the grumpiest, crotchety old man.
I'm not ready for
call
this yet.
Yuba City PD. We got your chaplain over here making a fuss, being unkind to our servers or whatever they call.
Patty will never let you go back.
Oh, yeah. It should be going on her own. Patty's not a coffee drinker. She's straight up tea. That's it. Tea. Yeah. So where was Shon born? Are you a California boy?
I am. In fact, I was born in Yuba City.
Stop it.
Gosh,
No, you weren't.
You're like 9 out of 10 that have been born in. I don't know the actual statistics.
We should ask these questions as part of before they get here?
No, this is fun to find out.
Yeah.
So you really were? You were born here?
Fremont Hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
As
so,
was 2 of my 3 kids.
Wow.
As were 2 or 3 of my kids.
so you were with CHP. So did you have to travel?
Well, see,
Because-
that's the only thing that that ended up bringing me out of home.
Yeah.
I've always owned my home here, and my family's always been here. My mom, my brother, not my brother. My brother moved to the Bay Area, but my sister, my mom, my dad, grandmother, grandparents, all living here. But because as you promote up in the CHP, you got to move more than likely. It's like the military. And then when you get right out of the academy as well, we went as far away as possible, which was on the Mexican border down in El Centro.
Oh, you
Wow.
did that.
Yeah, we packed up and that's why my youngest son was born down in El Centro.
Ah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we worked my way back up. But I've ended up being a lot of places. The desert down there in Southern California, then downtown Sacramento, with the Capitol protection, and protected the governor for a couple years. I was the driver primarily, and then back to the road in Colusa County, and then Yuba City, and then promoted into San Francisco, transferred up to Truckee.
Wow.
And then into San Jose, Solano, Willows in Glenn County, then Marin County, and then finally back home as the commander I made sure I stayed here. My longest command was going to be at home in my hometown, which is a career goal, be commander of my hometown, CHP. So I did that and then retired in 17.
Wow.
That's how I met you,
Yeah.
was through that.
Yeah. I hope I did write you a ticket or no?
I was just going to say, did he pull you over? Tell us all the details.
No, you guys had this great gal. I just loved her. She was your PIO.
Probably Jody.
Jody.
Yeah.
I just loved Jody. Jody could ask me to do anything and I'd go, okay.
She had that way, and she really, she was good. Still is good. I'm assuming she moved out of state, got remarried, moved out of state.
I didn't know that. I knew
She's
that
doing
she
really
was,
well.
She was very involved. Her son, I believe, is involved in sports.
Yes.
And she was on that constant.
That is her main priority, and probably still is. And he's since signed on, I believe, with the Astros.
Wow.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
got a full ride to University of Hawaii. But anyway, she was always good, because I'm not, I love, hanging out with people and stuff, but I'm horrible at names. And so we'd be at a function and people come walking up to me, and she would, under her breath, she'd say their name to me. And she had my back so many times on that. And then of course I get to, hey, how you doing? I act like I knew him a whole lot.
Man, I need one of those people.
Oh, she was
that
wonderful.
reminds me of names.
Oh.
And that is one of my weaknesses, is the name thing, But anyway, Jody's good people. She's good.
Fish and minnow.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's on
that
our
down.
cups if you forget while you're here.
Oh,
Yeah, we got our names on our cups.
you do. That's fancy.
I'm going to start telling people we did this for Shon Harris.
Yeah, exactly. Just so you can remember.
So yeah,
Thanks.
Jody, just a brilliant woman to start off with. She's very smart, very articulate, was perfect for PIO, but absolutely an officer. Always had that situational awareness. I'd go do even the toy drive, and she's like looking around, pulling the vest out so you can breathe. I mean, she really had the whole thing down. But yeah, great gal. And then now we got Brian. Who is he's a kick, and it wasn't until we got him in here when he decided to run the Ironman competition, and which was just absolutely, he's a riot.
You got to respect that.
Oh, buddy, and he made it. So we just brought him back in, one of the guests that we've actually had in twice.
Oh, good.
And he completed the thing.
Yep.
And he
There's
actually
some pictures for you too and everything.
yeah. Well, he
did?
talked one of the gals over there into running it with him.
Yeah.
So two of them
ran it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Competed in it,
And
I
they
guess,
both
because you run, bike, and
finished?
swim. Yep.
Uh-huh.
They both finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do it just to try to finish. There's no way in
Right?
the world I'm going to come close to winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he said that when he first started training, because I could tell he was losing weight, and he said he lost 40 pounds.
Oof.
That's a lot,
Yeah, it is.
40 pounds. And I was like, gosh darn.
But he said in his training, he got up to 20 hours of training a week. Like, that's 20 hours of exercise a week. You're going to lose.
Yeah, how do you do
You
that?
are. Yeah. And
Yeah.
how do you decide what to do?
He
I don't know.
bought a book and
There's
went on a
probably books
whole
on
training
that.
program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'm not doing it. Fish keeps thinking I'm going to, but
I never know what you
There's half ones. Do half tries or half whatever. I
I'll
did
do
a couple
the-
of those earlier.
I'll do the 30-foot drag and
30-foot
crawl.
drag.
He'll do the stairs.
Myself.
You do the 3-story fall, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, so when you were in CHP, Shon, at what point did you realize, okay, because you were young when you retired, right?
50. I was
Yeah.
50.
So you're thinking, what do I do now? Or did you already think, well, maybe I'll run for office? What happened that because you knew it was coming to an end, right?
Well, I could have gone longer.
Oh,
I would have been allowed to go. You can go up to 60.
Wow.
But I was ready for a change. It's like I've been in public service since the 80s. Started out as a cadet for Sutter County Sheriff's Office.
Wow.
And then bi-county ambulances in EMT1, then in EMT2, and then worked in Yuba County Jail for 4 years, and then the CHP in '95.
I didn't know that.
All that stuff. So so I was ready for the change. And being in an elected office was nowhere near, but by being the command role, they, and rightfully so, I agree with this, they expect the commanders to be out in the community.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And so I did. And I got out and started. And by that, you make friends with elected officials and leaders in the community and people in general. And then I had met a couple of the members of the Yuba City Council. And Preet Didball, remember Preet Didball?
Yeah.
She said, you should consider running it. No, I'm not going to, no. Typical story, right? No. And then boom, here I am. But,
Next thing you know, your name's on the sign.
You only say no so many times, and then it just turns into yes.
And one of the things is there was no incumbents running for re-election at that time. Two of them, Cash Gill and John Dukes, had decided not to rerun because I didn't want to go up there and try to unseat a sitting. It just rubbed me the wrong way, and so that is okay. I'll try. And where am I going to get the money? And they hooked me up with different people, and here it happened. And it sure is strange for me being introverted.
Yeah, to
drive around town and see my face on every corner.
Yeah.
And realize how bald I really am.
Should have worn a hat for this one.
Yeah, a cowboy hat or something. But and then you get in there, and you humility is the key, and you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and just kind of listen and learn, and here we are.
I don't think people realize that going into public office that first year or so is a very steep learning curve. Very steep. There's so much to get up to snuff, right? And that's how come sometimes, I know that generally speaking, an incumbent has a more difficult time in getting reelected than somebody going in. It's almost like people are looking for change, unless that incumbent did very well. During the course of their time in there. I felt very strongly that you and Mark Baumgarten were the right guys at the right time to go through the Orville Dam incident, to COVID, the whole thing, because you guys already both were very keenly aware of the kinds of things that happen in a community, the way to take command and responsibility for a situation. I just think we were very fortunate for you two men to be in at that time.
I appreciate that. And I will say that, it did come in handy because, although we weren't the ones making those specific decisions anymore, we knew where the decisions were coming from and why. And so we can help people understand what was going on, and enough to be able to troubleshoot, and that came in very handy. COVID was new for everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, we took our position that we had, and we went for it, and it has since worked out. But I got a lot of phone calls of people who were against the way we were doing it, and people even knocking on my front door wanting to tell me about it. But people. I had a guy stop me from mowing the lawn the other day talking about something else.
Oh my God.
It was pretty interesting, but that's, you do that. You can't not really complaining about it. It just is what it is. And so, but it was good. Mark and I, we've done well working together. I'm glad he was able to come on board. So,
we had him here in the tank. which was fun, huh?
I mean, he said a few bad things
can
about
imagine.
you. But
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
No, not at all.
I don't want to say you
go.
drug your dirty laundry out, right? It's game on.
yeah.
Just kidding. Just stirring the pot today.
Hey, Mark, you know that thing about a bus? You're about to go under it.
Yeah. He has a good way of. He's a lot more diplomatic than I am.
Extremely diplomatic.
He's really good at maintaining.
That's the fire versus law.
I guess, but maybe. But he talks me off the ledge a lot because I just want to tell people this is the way it is, but because where they're coming from maybe a little bit. Get the whole story first. See first, understand, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they want to attack, but they're looking at the problem through a straw. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell him that he's never told me no, but I just watch how he does it.
I can see him.
He's really good about just prefacing things before he gets to his point, and everybody on our council now. I'm really fortunate and thankful and grateful and appreciate and respect every one of them. And city staff, I can't say enough positive.
Except Dave Shaw.
Stop it.
I know Dave's going to watch this.
He's going to watch this.
He's going to watch this. I couldn't resist it, all right? Cheap shot at Dave Shaw.
You are off his Christmas list. Take him off your Christmas list,
That's
Dave.
a whole other show. Dave
There goes my
own story.
Dave said something to me. He said, how come I haven't been in the tank? And I was like, what?
It's an illegal.
I didn't think about it. Right? It's like we got everybody else. I'm going to wait. I'll find out who I haven't had on city council.
Yeah.
Okay. Make him wait till last.
So you got to serve as mayor as well, right?
I'm many at my third time.
Yeah.
Mayor,
And so is there, because there's no term limits. Now, a couple people have said, well, you just kind of know when you're done, or I'm going to move on to something else. Do you feel that way about this?
I could go another 4, and I'll explain why I'm not here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
I could go another 4 because there's so much that we're doing right now, particularly with Measure D not passing. There's a lot of work to be done there.
Yeah.
I thought I had to sneeze. And then a few other things with budget and projects we're working on. The bike path, some housing developments down there south of Bogue Road, and there's a lot of things going on. And I want to be able to be a part of that and help and be involved. But we ended up having to go to districts, which we had to go to 5 districts. We went to 5. We hired a demographer, the whole consultant thing, and they gave us several options. The option that made the most sense, unfortunately, was the one that was worse for me because it put Mark and I in the same district.
Oh.
So when my term is done, December 10th, Mark has 2 years left in his term. So if I wanted to run again, I couldn't even if I wanted.
Oh, because
there's nowhere to run for. Right?
Yeah, we have Tony Cole.
And that's going to be a good thing.
Because we're the 5th district, right? Yeah, we had Tony on the air. Yeah, so
You've had her in here already?
Had her on the air. Didn't have her in here yet. I'll get her in here.
Well, then you've got a sneak preview. She's talk about humility and wanting to do the right thing for the right reasons and professional and courteous, and it'll be good.
I'll have her in right before Dave Shaw.
Stop.
I will get a phone call. There's no.
He's going to be here any second. Take his name off the wall in a second.
He's just poking the bear in here.
Oh, I love that guy. Right, I was really grateful. I had a conversation with him and Mark Baumgarten as well when it came to the financial side, because Dave works in finances, right? And Mark, I remember talking to him, and he was working for the tractor, whatever that business was, farm something. And he said the budget that he had to work with for that was bigger than the budget for Yuba City. So he's very familiar with that. And I'll tell you, Shon, I was disappointed that measure didn't pass. Not that I'm for one more tax. I mean, I tell people all the time we're like a tea bag away from a revolt. But I could see 2 things. 1, the necessity, and 2, the money stayed here. And so when I interviewed people on the radio and that, I said, man, we need to recognize this money stays here, right? This isn't gone anywhere. And I was absolutely shocked to know how much of the money doesn't stay here.
next to none.
It was
1%.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I thought, how can that even be? But
yeah, the state likes to come in. We'll take that. We'll take that. We'll take that. You have less money, but we need you to do this, this, and this. And the county has it even worse than we do on some of those things. But yeah, it was unfortunate it didn't go through. It's going to be challenging to figure out what it's going to look like. It's still a little bit early to tell for sure, but we've made steps. You know, even before we were optimistic that it would go through. We thought we did a good job. In fact, I know we did a good job getting the word out. So many people, not just city staff, but out in the community, getting the word out to people as to why we need it. Nobody in their right mind, nobody who's sane likes taxes. I don't. In principle, right? But once you understand the need for it and understand that, hey, we're going to double what we're taking in to be able, and this is what we would like to do with it. We couldn't commit to anything simply because of the structure with the general tax. It has to go to general fund.
But you did have an oversight committee.
We were going to.
You guys already had talked to people that were going to oversee that money when it came in,
right? And to make kind of like a watchdog, if you will, to verify, because we had to get around the predictable comments that, oh, this is going to go in general fund. You're not going to use it for what we're telling you. You're going to go here. Well, that's the way it's structured, because statistically, the general ones pass because you only need 50% plus one versus 2/3. We wanted to be, why do this if it's not going to pass? And so that's why we went general. But people just, I used to say, let's draw down and dig deep and come back with the trust that you placed in us when you voted for us.
Yeah.
Right? We're telling you what we need, and what more are we going to do? It's clean water, police, fire, roads, and that's what we're going to do. But there's enough people who are anti-tax, but yeah, we drive to Roseville and pay the same rate.
Well, and these are all things that we're asking for locally, right?
Yeah.
Do you want fire and law? Do you want better roads? It's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. And so we just thought, okay, here it comes. We look at the budget, and okay, here's revenues, here's expenses, right? And so we need to ask the voters if they'd be willing to give us another penny, and the answer was no.
Yep.
So okay.
Back to the drawing board you go.
Yeah.
And
they even said that it could be
roads, but
it could be voted back out. So it wasn't like it was permanent. It was voted in, and then they said the citizens could actually vote it back out, right? And it's like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Let's get it in, and I mean, it's a penny. I mean, you don't think it's that much, but when you added all those pennies together, the amount of income it would have added to
a little over $17 million.
Yeah, $17 million to fix the roads and to pay law enforcement and fire, and it's like guys, at some point you have to go. If you move somewhere else, that they're already at that tax rate. They told us there was very few places that had not yet upped the tax rate.
Yeah, we're one of 8 left in the state.
8, yeah.
And it's just we did not put a sunset date on it. But it is up to the voters. They could vote it out easily. I mean, if they do their thing. But we didn't put a sunset date on it because we were planning on using the money for now on. And so you don't go, if you win, at 10 grand, you don't go buy a car and with a car payment because there's finite source. If we put an end date on the income, why we can't finance road repairs if we know we're not going to be able to pay.
Yeah.
We have to be able to keep going. And so that's why. But then again, the voters could always have voted out, but they didn't even vote it in the first place. So we're going to start there now. And that's something I wish I could be a part of, is helping troubleshoot and problem solve and prioritize that stuff. But,
well, you've got a couple weeks.
I got a couple weeks to finish it up. But it is what it is at this point, and we're just going to have to. This is the hand we were dealt, and we'll make the best of it. It is. Yeah, I'm kind of worried.
I do want to shift gears to your career as a filmographer.
Oh, wow.
A movie maker.
My budding career.
Your budding career as because the Shon.
I didn't even know about this. Wait, I didn't know this about
you're going to love it. He goes, oh, you got a lot of cameras in here. So search him, Kurt, when he leaves. I don't want to find out a camera.
Well, I was noticing this here. That's kind of creative. I like that.
Isn't it? Yeah.
The lighting and whatnot.
That's from Lonnie and Kayla that have Ashton Imagery. They have an office in the first floor of the Hart Building. They actually designed this podcast room and designed the whole green room out there.
Okay.
So they did all that. And Lonnie came in here and he worked for a long time on this lighting to get it just right. And that included those. And I thought, that's part of the lighting? But it is. It's all part of the...
And the best lighting is lighting you don't notice you have, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you want to take audio for granted as well. You don't. If bad audio, you're going to notice it immediately. You can have the best video in the world, but if your audio is bad, people
Kurt's over there nodding.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
So
Kurt knows.
yeah, that's super important to have that. Yeah. So this is, I'm sure, good. But.
Well, and I don't want Kurt's head to get big. I try to be careful with stuff like that. But
blow it up.
He's the right guy. Go ahead, blow his head up. He's the right guy. He shoots the podcast for this room. Mm-hmm. So if somebody leases the room, because you can lease it, they get Kurt as part of the package deal.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and then downstairs we have a TV studio. And we shoot a sports program that goes on Fox 40, and Kurt does that as well.
Busy man, Kurt.
And he picked up one of our interns that we got from Lyndhurst High is in Olivehurst. I don't know.
Lyndhurst,
anyway, yeah, Lyndhurst. Anyway, which they have a great program over there. And then that kid works with Kurt to do that. And we got an intern from San Jose State that has been helping. And so, yeah. So anyway, you shot a movie, and I understand it's got another showing coming up.
Well, we're not sure exactly on the next date, but I did shoot one. It was supposed to be, I wanted to do a dramatization of the life of homeless folks from their perspective. And so we interviewed a bunch of people, a few dozen homeless folks, even I went down to Tenderloin, San Francisco, interviewed a few of them, and primarily right here locally, though. And I cherry picked their stories, and then wrote a script. It was a woman. I wanted to be female because I think they have it more difficult.
They do, yeah.
And then I wanted a female with a child because I feel bad, for that. I want to tell that story and how that interfaced with society and their day to day, and then the system and things like that. But one thing I did was, and I wanted to do that, and I stand by that decision, even though it caused things to not quite work out the way I initially planned, is I hired homeless people to act and as crew and things like that.
Oh.
And so there was a deadline. This was a grant funded, so I had a deadline. And then I quickly found out that, folks in those situations, they might not necessarily answer their phone. They might not necessarily be able to show up.
Yeah.
Down to flat out off the radar, to hospitalization, to incarceration, to you name it. And I quickly started doing the math on the scenes I had to shoot, and the deadline asked for an extension. They said no. Asked for another one. They said no. Asked for another one. They said no. And so I had to quickly pivot and go to documentary format. And so we interviewed a bunch of people. Lindsay Pfeffer, do you know Lindsay? You probably do. I think she's been in here. I can't remember the name of her group, her band she's in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't either.
It's like so right bad. There. Yeah. But, like Peppermint Patty and the something or something.
Anyway, she is absolutely wonderful, and she was the main star of the when it was going to be a dramatization, and she became the host of the documentary. And so she and we found some folks, and we literally sat on the ground in alleys and interviewed people, and we put that together. And it's called Road to Resilience, The Road to Resilience, and that's out. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in some film festivals, and then once that's done, I'll put it on YouTube, because some of the festivals, they won't let you submit if it's already publicly available.
Oh.
So I'm trying to have to nuance all that, but it was good. And I've done other ones, commercials for some folks locally, some political commercials, one for Dave Shaw. And then my first project I did was through Yuba City Arts for a film festival. They had a bio documentary, if you will, about my grandmother who was 92 at the time. Now she's 95. So we did that. And it was fun. It's fun times. And I enjoy the creative process and all the little things you don't really think about that go into it all. And it's fun to do that.
Well, I tell Lonnie, he does the lighting. I said, it wouldn't do me any good to go, hey, Lonnie, I don't think there's enough lumens coming out of that light.
Yeah.
I just like, if that's your job, you do it, right? Yeah. I do this, right? You know, and it's like, but I appreciate everybody, has those parts. Yeah. Like I could hear you, thinking, okay, I wanted to include these people, but if they can't do it, unfortunately, if you were independently wealthy, then you're not worried about a grant, a conclusion of it, the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
So that actually, there was a showing of Road to Resilience through the Arts Council. Mm-hmm. And then I had David Reed on the other day. So apparently there's another showing coming up.
There is not. We had to postpone that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's some behind the scenes stuff that have interfered. Excuse me. And so we want to have another one, and we discussed a future date literally yesterday. And so I'll make sure I let you know when that happens. And then we'll do other things too, other projects. So I would love to be able to tell you, be there, be square. This is it, but it's not. We had to stop.
Well, that whole thing, I mean, I never intended on getting in radio.
Yeah.
Let alone this, and then now TV. And those guys went down and shot a pilot that they're going to try to get to the Food Network about restaurant areas. Mm-hmm. And so, Tyler Johnson and Lonnie Webb and Kurt, and I forget who all went down, and shot that down on 3 restaurants in Plymouth Street, Pasquini's, and then Council Oaks out at Hard Rock. And, it was about an area, the food in an area, which I think was a great idea. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, again, none of that's my expertise. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to get on there and tell Kurt, I don't think that camera shot was what it should have been. Kurt would be like, what do you know, right? And it's like, so you do like the creative side, not the technical side. You like the creative side.
I would have to say yes, for sure. I have to get through the technical stuff. I envision a shot that I want to have, but then how do I get through the technicality part to make it happen? And a lot of it happens in editing, but I think they say, you got to put good stuff in order to get good stuff out. And so that's where I want to create the scenes. I mean, I've got a fog machine. I've got all kinds of stuff to create atmosphere, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you wouldn't even realize it. And I can watch movies now with my, a couple years of digging around and doing some research and learning, where I can kind of see when they've used certain things, or where they've made a point of making lighting a certain way, complementary colors, even if it's a background color, to go with whatever the main character is doing, to make it all mesh. And
that's why my shirt matches.
You're doing that on purpose.
My shirt matches the logo.
We know. So what made you choose homeless? Like, why was that what you focused on first?
Well, we dealt with that topic a lot in the council, right? And I do feel for them. And I had enough people call me up complaining because they had to see a homeless person. So they're calling with the same tone in their voice and the same attitude as if they were complaining about too much litter in the street. I'm thinking, you know what, these are people that will, I mean, they don't present themselves that way, but it was disappointing. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, if they're feeling this way, then maybe these folks are getting. I just wanted to tell the human side of it, not to say, I mean, they have to be a good neighbor. That you should not leave trash around. You should not. You need to do what you need to do. My feeling is, let's help them help themselves for now.
Yeah.
And then if they don't, then it's on them. Mm-hmm. But I just think they got kind of a bad rap, and the people will put them in a certain box, and when there's so many stories to tell for each and every person, and you overlay mental illness on top of it. And I would ask them, why in the world would you want to live like this? I don't even care. You know, I don't even know where my next meal has come from. Why would I care if that piece of paper is in the trash can or not? Right? I'm just trying to survive out here and not get assaulted. How in the world am I supposed to be able to take the time to do my hair and put makeup on and go do a job interview when, you know, so, okay, this makes sense. So I kind of wanted to tell the story, and a lot of people may think that because I told it from their perspective that I'm overly sympathetic. I'm empathetic, and I feel for them. Yeah. But I also think they have some responsibility to pull themselves out of it. And
there's a balance. A real balance.
Just the mental thing of, oh my God, I've got to be here at a certain time, certain place, and I've got to go through all this to get for what, a minimum wage job. I'll just be out here, but you have to, at some point, you have to decide to make that change. And I would tell them, you stick to it, and 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 eventually you'll emerge. And there are some success stories. One or a few of them in particular, I can tell they're right over here at the Life Building Center, Marysville. They really have pulled themselves out of it. You know, Habitat for Humanity will tell you some of the success stories of people who get in their places, and so it's possible. But it's, I think it's even. Why would we as a society want to make their emergence from that even more difficult because we don't want to care? You know, and think of them as just a nuisance rather than people.
You know, there was the thought that 90% of the homeless are veterans, and so there were some
90?
people, some huge percentage. So there were a couple of people that I brought on the air downstairs when we were down there, and they did the statistics. They literally went and talked to homeless people, right, and did stats on it to say how many homeless do we have, and
point in time count.
And they said, you'd be shocked. It's a very low percentage of homeless that are veterans. But it sounds like when people are talking, it's all veterans, right? And it's like it's not. And I think that that's part of you doing a film on it that's important. With the radio station, I try to humanize what the mainstream media has dehumanized. And I started with law enforcement. And because I went, okay, this is what you're hearing out there is not what's actually going on.
That's right.
I'm not saying there isn't somebody that's blowing it in any profession, but that doesn't make the whole profession bad. So I thought if I brought people on and they got to hear them and talk with them, right, or hear us interview them, they would see them differently, see them in a different light. And I felt the same way about law enforcement, about small business, just down the line. And I think what you did was something that probably it would be nigh impossible for me to do, to bring homeless in and interview them, right? But by doing a documentary, and I could see why you would want to do a film that really portrayed a person's life, because that even goes deeper now. Now you're really, you know what I mean? And I do think it's misunderstood. Not every person, and they call them, they don't say homeless. I was talking to Johnny Burke this morning. They have, what do they call it? Something, not always homeless, they use without a house or something.
Houseless.
Houseless, I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, he was saying unhoused. That's it, unhoused. And it's like, well, what does that mean? And he said, because some of them are actually in a facility, but they don't have a home. So they're trying to even define it to that extent. But doing a film, that's really great. So where can that, I mean, you're going to try to make that available? Yeah,
I will. We do the film festival thing first, and then I'll put it on probably my Vimeo and YouTube.
How long is it?
So go from there. It is 43 minutes. And we interviewed 10 folks that were willing to be on camera. We interviewed many more, but 10 were willing to be on camera. And so, yeah, it was some heartbreaking stuff, and some interesting things too. And I try to go on both sides. I mean, I let the story, because there are some of them, a couple in particular come to my mind that I disagreed with. Their perspective, their attitude, their tone, their everything. but I left it in there because I want everyone. But I also didn't go out of my way to point out that I disagree with this. I just let it speak for itself and let people make up their own mind. So it should be interesting. But yeah, it's definitely what a topic, nationwide. Yeah. It's so I don't know.
If you were going to pursue that, Shon, if you were going to say, all right, I like this, I did a documentary, but I really want to do a film, right? Where would you go next? I mean, would you do the one about the woman and her child? I mean, would you?
Well, I have that. I would like to finish it. There's going to be a lot of stuff I have to reshoot because some of the people I used, I can't find them anymore.
Oh,
so I don't know where they are, and they got through maybe had 7 or 8 scenes. We got through 3 of them, and poof. So I'm gonna have to do all of them over again, which means I need to find more actors again. And, so I would like to do that because for one, the actors who I had in there, I think I feel as if I kind of owe it to them to let's put their product up there. But when I had to retool, like for example, the child actor I had, she was phenomenal. I mean, I want to go out of my way to write something just to put her in it. She was wonderful, but she's not in the other one because there's no interview. She was an actress.
Yeah.
So I have this good footage of her. I should probably just give it to her for a audition reel or something.
Yeah.
Because she's going to go places. And there's so many other ones that are like that too. So I don't know what I would do exactly. I have a lot of ideas. I think I would like to try a comedy. It's a little more upbeat. I get kind of
after shooting that.
Yeah, it's like
a little bit heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Well, Kelly's available for any.
Oh my gosh, he's
anything
so
you
full
want
of
to
beans.
shoot.
All right,
I am really funny, but
she's available. And if
Yeah.
you need somebody homeless, right, for an actor, Kurt can grow his beard back out before we got it all trimmed over it. I'll give a plug for Lighthouse Barber right here on 4th Street in Marysville. And
I had Jeff Graham as an actor.
Jeff Graham, he did. They had. I wrote some commercials for Ecology that were over 2 minutes long, but because of what I do, I can do that. And there was several people that Jackie Silman found actors. I believe Jeff Graham was one of them. Mm-hmm. But I wrote this series, and it was Rickology, Sheriff Rickology.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was different things, and it was his kid Cody and his wife, and so they got these actors to act them out, and they were a riot. Mm-hmm. They lived on the plains of Yuba City.
That's awesome.
And Colby. It was Colby, and Colby had an old refrigerator sitting there, and said, "I'm gonna do something with that, honey." And she was like, "Right?" She's like, "What are you gonna do with it? It's been sitting out there. I can't even see the buttes, right?" And Colby goes, "Well, here, darling, just this milk crate. I turned it upside down. If you stand on that, you can see past that refrigerator. Aren't the buttes lovely?" And so it was that kind of stuff. But they got those actors, and so when it came back, because I just wrote the script, I was blown away. These are local actors, and they were amazing.
There's a lot of talent out there. Tom Galvin, he made a whole same grant I got for this film. He put together, I think it was 6 or 8 songs that he wrote about Yuba City, our history and everything. Have you heard him? Yeah,
he's actually doing that.
Oh, good.
Somewhere I got the stuff from. I have David Reed on once a month, so he lets us know what's playing, and he does that. But I mean, I just think we live in an area that has so much talent, and like how many people know you even do that?
I don't know.
You even shoot film,
More
right?
now.
More now.
What's next? So you're going to retire again, right?
Yeah,
We're retiring again.
Well, I've got I got 2 granddaughters living here. I got a granddaughter, grandson living in Utah, so I'll be doing back and forth there.
You're just going to grandpa it up.
I am.
Okay.
I love
doing some traveling too.
I wouldn't know.
And we see what happens. See what happens.
So this is a gift. You have to appear in the tank, or you don't get this.
Oh.
It's your consolation prize for coming on.
Thank you. Wow. This, I collect coffee cups.
Do you really?
I have almost 200.
Wow.
My kids are always saying, what are we supposed to do with that when you croak? You know, but I'll put it up there. I'll use it beginning today.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's good. Thank you very much for that.
Well, I think he could get on the film crew for whatever.
Well, I plan on doing something. I have a few, I think, what are decent ideas. Tom and I were talking about something too. And so I'm looking forward to being able to have the time to do it. And that's the main thing is be able to focus on that. I do foster parenting too, and I have 2 little guys right now until probably mid-January, ages 3 and 6. And so I'm busy. Yeah. And so I'll be able, I'm kind of like doing a little bit of the stuff, but as far as being able to do a deep dive into learning things and writing things where I have to be able to do things at maybe basically 30-second increments now before you get interrupted, right?
Yeah.
So I'm doing it, but when things settle down beginning of next year, I'm really going to try to do some stuff.
Dive into creative time.
Yeah, I have some ideas,
you
know, and have fun with it. So I do some commercials because those are fairly short, so it wouldn't take as long. Mm-hmm. But
it's important because they got commercials now that are funny, and you're done watching it and you go, "What was that for?" Mm-hmm. So you actually remember the humor more than you remember. Mm-hmm. And then there's ones that are very clever where they make the product. You're supposedly within 30 seconds. You should name the product or the business at least 3 times in 30 seconds. That's once every 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so that's very difficult. Well, with a TV commercial and it runs 30 seconds and you're trying to work that in there and it's like, picture's got to be worth 1,000 words. That becomes much more difficult. But honestly, Shon, I'm just going to say it. I've seen commercials that I think I could write better stuff than that. Mm-hmm. They're just terrible. I think, why is that even on TV, you know?
So he'll be your new assistant.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, how did that guy even get elected? You know, same principle, right?
How did this guy get a radio show?
Yeah, exactly. Why is he doing a podcast?
Yeah. So hopefully I won't be that because that's one of my part of my motivations is I could do that. I could do what? And sometimes you get in there and you realize it's not as easy as it looks. But certain things, it's like, no, really, no. We're going to make it stand out. And versus, you know, the talking head thing, it's kind of boring. And I always say, let's do something different, use different angles.
Yeah.
And you don't want to overuse things. Like you see a lot of things where people overuse a drone. You can tell, okay, yeah, somebody just bought a new drone, and that's every shot's from a
every shot's a drone.
You do 2 or 3, kind of subtly work it in, and then tell the story, and make sure you stick to the story.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All good. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
I'm glad you came on.
We just got started. There's so much more to talk about.
Well, yeah. We didn't know you were from Yuba City. One more Yuba City boy. I mean, this is crazy, huh?
It is.
You know, we didn't expect that. We expected more and more people because, you think, well, with CHP, I knew that. I had a friend that there was 3 of us. We were in the military when they switched the airports over to doing air-based ground defense. And all 3 of us competed. And I was the oldest, and I was getting ready to turn 35. And, for the academy, for CHP, once you pass 35, you're done, right? Mm-hmm. And so I had to make a choice. But Jim Beal, this friend of mine, he went in, and he ended up at the top of the grapevine. I forget Fort Tejon or something.
Fort Tejon, yeah.
And he ended up with that assignment, and I did his wedding ceremony, ended up getting married. But we visited him there, and I thought, you're in the middle of nowhere. He said, yeah, but we really only got one road, right? But
you got one road, but it's a busy road.
Oh,
I would like working. I like working in the desert too. As an officer, you give me my freeway, my ticket book, my cup of coffee,
and you're good.
And my 60 miles of freeway, and leave me alone. I'm happy. And you just do it, and you just take care of business, keeping people slow and safe.
Yeah, the other guy ended up at San Quentin as a.
What do you do?
He was a no.
He took the rap for something Fish did.
No, he did that, and then the third guy went down to. He was CHP, and he was down where Magic Mountain is.
Okay.
And
Newhall.
Yeah, Newhall. And he got stationed there, and it was like, but it was just like being back in the military. Mm-hmm. But I'll never forget this. Jim Beal, I asked him because we trained hard. man, we did everything because we competed for the Air Force. And I asked him, so what was CHP training like? And he said, you coming to my graduation? And I said, yeah. He said, all right. So I went to graduation. It's in the gym, and they have a sign up that says that the more you sweat here, the less you'll bleed on the street. And he said it was rougher than any training I'd been through. So physically, mentally demanding, the training for CHP.
Yeah. I mean, you get that badge pinned on, you know you've earned something.
Yeah.
And there's people in my class who were Marines, went through Marine boot camp and said it was more difficult.
Yeah. I believe he said he thought he was in shape. And he said, I found out very quickly I'm in shape for some things. I wasn't in shape for that.
Yeah. So. Some people make the mistake of expecting the academy to get them in shape. But no, you got to come prepared or you're going to have a really hard time because, you know, like you were saying, the mental and the academic part, when people don't have a background in it, I was fortunate enough to where I did have a background in it. I mean, when you're in pain because of all the PT on top of trying to deal with the stress of getting your studies done and learning how to march and up when you're not supposed to be up because you need to clean your weapon and the brass for the next day. It's and they know that, but it's all part of a plan.
Yeah.
They're trying to pay attention to detail and the less you can have to concentrate on, the better, the more you can focus on doing and getting through there. You don't want to add more to your plate for sure. And I was an EMT before. So when we had 3 weeks of EMT class down here, I basically took a break. I was fortunate because I had the background in it, right? And it was recent enough to where it was not so bad. So that was nice. I was also fortunate that I was able to come home on weekends because living in Yuba City, we're so close to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Classmates of mine who lived in LA, they're heading to the airport at Friday when by the time they even get on board the plane, I'm home for the weekend, right? So it was nice to have that too.
We appreciate you coming on. Anytime. We're going to have you back. We're going to find out, you know, what he films next and how you're going to become the woman that is the homeless woman in the...
Stop it.
Come on, you can
Stop
do acting.
It. He wants me to do everything.
Everything. I
believe
believe
you could
in
run
you.
a triathlon.
You can act and be
I
funny.
believe in you.
We'll do it.
So
we'll
in between the
out.
triathlon and the movie,
Yeah,
you still
in
come
all
in
my
here.
spare time, you still want me to make you Cheeto bread.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get your priorities right. And if you can't, just ask me. I'll tell you what they are.
Excellent. Thank you. You're so helpful.
I'm there for Shon, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you
Anytime.
doing that. And we are going to have you back because you're right. We barely scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're a deep well. We're going to...
A deep well.
Yeah, we're going to get in there and find out what else, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Cool.
she'll have a list of questions, so she'll just give you the list. So
Hopefully we'll talk about my next project by then. We'll see what we do.
That's perfect. All right. I don't know which camera I'm on, but that one, okay. So listen, I had a great time with Shon Harris, and this was really good. We are going to have to do this again for sure, but we're going to be right back. And Kelly and I are going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have resolved the issue of cranberry sauce and darker light meat. What else is left? All right.
Sweet potatoes.
93Q Radio was an opportunity for what's called an LPFM to give the community a voice.
The big part of what's happening here is it's us. It's the community of us.
The work that Mr. Fischetti has done with us to promote public education has been absolutely groundbreaking.
They have the pulse of our community from the nonprofits to the local governments. If you want to find out what's happening in our community, get on board with 93Q.
And 93Q does so much to help our community, helps us promote our local events, as well as local businesses, and tell our story about what we do here in Yuba City.
The folks that work here, they're part of our community, so they understand our needs, and that's important.
Local radio is so important during times of emergency. They're there. We lean on them to provide information to our public.
My wife and I are glad to support 93Q. We're going to do it on a monthly basis, but I really recommend that if you want to make your community better, this is a great place to take a first step right here.
So if you can, reach deep in your pocket and give to 93Q.
93Q is a great partner for law enforcement, and they're a great partner for the Yuba City area.
we're really asking people if you can give $10, $15, $20 a month, and then that enables us to continue to put small business spots on the air, nonprofits, organizations that are they're using every dollar they got just to operate, and they don't have extra money to spend on really promoting their cause. And that is why community radio, to me, I'm grateful to be part of it, and that's why it's important. All right, we're back, and what a great interview. One more from Yuba City.
One more. We're going to have to look at our
people.
numbers.
Huh?
We're going to have to look at our numbers and see.
Yeah.
Because I am surprised more often than not that somebody is born and raised Yuba City, still here, has chosen to make their career here, retire here. That's the other thing. It's one thing if you made your career here, but there's so many people that are retiring here. They're lifers.
Yeah, I like when he said with CHP, he said, my goal ultimately was to be in Yuba City.
Yeah. Commander in hometown.
Yeah, that's really good. You're not from Yuba City.
No.
Where'd you say you're from?
So I was born in Bryceland, which is Bryceland.
Bryceland.
Which is
that in America?
It is. It is. It's in California. It's Humboldt County.
Oh.
So I was born in.
You're up in a dope community.
My parents were total hippies.
Were they really?
I was born at home with a midwife.
I'm surprised your name isn't like Moonflower.
Moonchild.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Nope. I was born there. Yep. And then grew up in the Bay Area, Pleasant Hill, out by Contra Costa County.
Yeah.
And then
that's a great area, though.
It is. We lived on a vineyard. I had an amazing childhood, and then we moved to the Sacramento River, tiny town of Clarksburg.
I've been there. It's a tiny town right on the levee.
Yeah, we lived 2 miles north of the bridge.
Yeah,
so the
I
green
used to
bridge
go down there and go across that bridge, and we used to stop there. Wow.
Yep. So we moved there when I was 17. I commuted to finish out my high school career, and then have been in the Sacramento area ever since.
Well, I was born in Brooklyn, so it's hard to. But anyway, with Shon, it was really good to hear that.
Yeah.
That he likes it here.
Yeah.
This was, some people will say, "I can't wait to get out of this town," but then you hear a lot of people say, "Well, I was that way, but I came back."
Yeah.
I came back.
I came back.
Yeah. When I found out that great big world isn't all that cool, this is nice, right? But I liked. He's got a lot more going on.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to get in a little deeper with it. But he's had such a lengthy career and been stationed in a lot of different places. Military people are like that. They're stationed overseas or several assignments. I mean, sometimes not. I've heard military people say Beale is a black hole, that if you get stationed at Beale, you're stuck there.
Yeah.
But it's because they have certain specialties, certain things they do, that there's only a few places they do that.
Yeah.
So that could happen.
If you end up here, you're probably staying.
And we have a lot of military, ex-military here.
Yeah.
Right? Because of that retired out of Beale. And so now we've got Shon Harris, who retired out of the CHP here, right?
Yeah.
I'm really glad he ran for office, glad he serves on our city council. And whatever he does next, it's going to be good.
I'm really stoked to watch this film that he made.
Yeah.
I love that he chose to focus on something that was kind of near and dear to his heart. And I really liked that he wants to tell, the stories behind people. Because I'm curious, and I'm sure other people are. You stop at a light, you see somebody holding a sign, and I always think, I wonder what their story is. Like, that was somebody's son, that was somebody's, possibly husband or dad that's now standing here holding a sign. So I think that's,
Cal, honestly, I think that's the connection between you and I. We both want that. That's why we do this, because we get to do that.
Yeah.
We don't just we didn't just have Shon Harris, who was previously a mayor or city councilman. We want to know about people, and I really believe that the audience for this, that's what they want to know. They we talked about, why was reality TV so popular.
Yeah.
But then it got to where it really wasn't a reality.
No.
You could tell it was staged.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we're trying that, right? And we're not trying that. We don't have to worry about ratings.
Yeah.
Both people that watch us,
my mom, your wife.
Yeah, that's right. What a great audience. We love you guys.
Love you, Mom. Yeah. Thanks for being here.
But we are doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
And we believe that people like this because they get to know that person a little better.
Yeah.
If you said, okay, who's on the city council for Yuba City, you might be able to name them.
Yeah.
Right? Especially after the election. So you probably, right? But even at that, it's like, but do you know them? I mean, I love the kid, Dave Shaw. I really like Dave. But I also know Dave is serious about what he does. He's serious about the city council. And so there, I hope I fixed it, Dave.
Is that better, Dave? Well, the issue I have sometimes is that we leave these episodes and I have more questions at the end of them. Like Shon was talking about that he, fosters. I'm over here like, I want to hear more about that. I mean, we didn't ask how old he was, but he's, over 50, we know. And it's like to have a 3 and a 6-year-old now running around at your house. I mean, that's got to be challenging.
Well, you remember our interview with Deb Benish?
Yes.
And they'd had, I don't even know how many.
I think she's had 50 plus, 50 plus.
And they've adopted some of them. Their friends have adopted some of them. But it's reaching out past your own life and giving a portion of your life to somebody else that is the future, right? Yeah. And I could see him doing that. Number one, Shon Harris is a very intelligent man. He's nobody's fool. At the same time, sometimes you can't equate intellect and compassion. It's like either this road or this road. And he's not. He's both roads. And that's what's I think he'll be very successful with films. I think like he said, when he started sitting down and interviewing with them, he said that it changed. He saw something different because he was sitting on the sidewalk talking. Yeah, that's great.
That was good.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
So we're coming up on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we're going to put out a little blurb. So just so you folks know, you'll get a little,
There was your blurb.
There was your blurb right there. So it's like got pictures of birds on it.
Can we just loop that one for me later?
Do not.
When I'm having a sad day, I'll just watch it on loop. Thanks, Kurt.
All right. Listen, thanks so much for watching. We hope that you're enjoying this as much as we are, because we are definitely enjoying this. We're finding out things about people right here. These are the people in your neighborhood. I'm going to find out if there's probably rights to that
there
song.
There probably is, but they might be cheap.
It might be cheap. So we'll find out. Maybe we'll use that. Anyway, thanks for watching Fish and Minnow in the Tank. We need some like
I know, right?
Just something, right? And again, you can hit the subscribe button and also leave us a comment. Let us know, are you enjoying this? Only because we're going to do it anyway, but it might be good to know people are liking it. So we'll see you next time right here on In the Tank with
Fish and Minnow, blah, 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 blah.